Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting right back into it. It is the Kaspersky Cup, the Kaspersky Arena, sorry, for July, and it is a King of the Hill tournament, which means that whoever wins the first series goes on into the second series to face somebody else, and the winner of that goes on, and so forth and so forth. And we have had a king change every single series so far. So yeah, if momentum keeps on going like that, then TLO will win this series, but it does actually look like he will do it because, well, I don't know. I mean, he's won the first game and put ThorZaIN on the back foot, did an exceptionally good job of macroing out some forces. His macro is just superb in the first game, and I mean, it really comes down to that point where you, as a commentator, you just look and say, alright, this guy can have this many forces, this guy can have that many forces, blah blah blah, this guy can do something, this guy can do something, and this guy should have enough to push this off. But sometimes you get in a game where they just have more forces than you think it is possible that they should have. I mean, I think I saw this in the, what was it, the grand final of the DreamHack or something like that, where it was Jaedong, and yeah, he had forces, and it didn't seem possible that he actually could have that many forces. He just had more forces than it seemed possible for him to have at that point, and it actually confused me quite a bit. And it looked, and I think TLO did that last game as well. He just had so many forces, he just kept the pressure up, and yeah, he just did an awesome job and really just dominated ThorZaIN in game one. And ThorZaIN is going to have to think of something else to do here, and I think, I mean, he had great unit composition. He did have, it was a bit Hellbat heavy early in the game, and he was not good against the roaches, but he started transitioning into Marine Marauder medevac, and he actually got a tank at one point, but that tank got taken out pretty quickly. So yeah, it's definitely going to have to think of something else. Maybe he's going to skip on the Hellbats this time and just go for Triple M and maybe some tank support as well. Nice and early, get in there, don't worry about the harassment, just go for the army and get it done. And so yeah, we'll see what's happened. And TLO's going for his favourite build, which is hatchery into pool, and ThorZaIN, yes. What did I tell you, man? He's called up Tasia and he's asked him for his strategy, and Tasia's said, you know what, go for a, actually he's not going for a command center first, he's got the barracks first. Tasia used to do this, or maybe it was another Terran player, but he used to go for the command center and 2 supply depots, so he'd go for a command center before barracks, but he'd get it up here, so it wasn't really out in the open. But definitely command center before factory. It's going to be a very, very awesome build. TLO is not really famed for super early attacks. He can do them, but he usually doesn't. He usually just sends out these 2 lings to go for a bit of a scout, and then maybe 2-3 minutes from now he'll start to get something done, which should give ThorZaIN plenty of time to set up a bunker over here if he needs it, set up a little bit of a wall. But yeah, he is going to go for some Hellion harass, just a little bit. But I think this is, I'm starting to think that Hellion harass versus a Zerg is just something you feel like you have to do. Like, yeah, it's just like polite, it's just like manners or something like that. It's not actually anything to do with a tactical sort of reason. It's just something you have to do. Like if somebody sneezes, you say bless you, or if you know, if you meet a new person for the first time, you have to shake their hands. If you play against a Zerg player, you have to Hellion rush them. There's no tactical value whatsoever. It's just a courtesy to Hellion, to send a couple of Hellions at a Zerg player. And I mean, it's a time-honored tradition, so no doubt TLO would be gravely offended if he did not see the 2 Hellions going into his base. And there we go, the 2 Hellions coming out. They're going to roast the inaugural Ling going out there, and yeah, so that, actually, I think that is exactly why TLO may have sent those 2 Lings out there, just to be roasted by the Hellions, because, you know, as part of a time-honored tradition, the Zerg player provides the 2 Lings, the ThorZaIN, the Terran player, sends out the 2 Hellions to roast the 2 Lings, and now that the courtesies are out of the way, we can start getting into the game proper. But 2 more Hellions coming out, and Yes, 4 Hellions, okay. If he starts getting out 6 Hellions though, then he's starting to be rude. And then TLO will have to go ahead and just start bitch slapping him. But yeah, he's 4 Hellions. 4 Hellions are permissible. 6 Hellions is when you're with 4 Hellions is a little bit past courtesy. It's a little bit like a slap in the face. So yeah, 6 Hellions, sorry. And we do have roaches coming out of the way. So yes, this is continuing the courtesy. The Hellions come out, roast the lings, and then they come out and they get sniped by the queens or sniped by the roaches. So just finishing off, and the medevac coming in with the hellbats. And this is not courtesy. This is not part of the way things are supposed to go. This is ThorZaIN being a dick right here. But of course, at some point in a game, you have to start being a dick. You cannot play courtesies forever. And yes, he's going to start nice and early. And of course, the roaches are like, where are the inaugural Hellions that we have to take out? What are these hellbats doing there? And what do we got? Queen pressure, man. Queen pressure, but why would you pressure? Yeah, I think he's trying to set up a new type of courtesy here. I think he took out an SCV and nearly got a supply depot. But man, oh man, he's got some nice, he's actually put the creep a lot further forward than he normally would have it. And this is going to be really, really good for him because he can spread it out. He can take it all the way up to the Terran's front door nice and quickly. Force the Terran player to have to start dealing with creep a lot sooner. But the Terran player does have a fair amount of marauders, so he should be fine in dealing with the roaches. And yeah, he's even got medevacs as well. He has started getting some hellbats, but the hellbats not really going to be doing that much. I mean, they're worried about ling pressure, but there is no ling pressure in this game. It's all roaches, and yeah, he definitely does not want to build a crapload more hellbats. He's actually building tanks, so ThorZaIN definitely on top of his game in this game. And TLO double expanding. He feels like this creep in the middle is going to give him the advantage. It's going to give him some more map control that he doesn't usually have. So he's going to be double expanding 3rd and 4th, and for all I know, he may pull it off because this amount of creep here is going to keep ThorZaIN, is going to keep him occupied for quite some time. And he may just get away with getting down these 2 bases, and if he gets away with that, I mean, we saw what he did with 3 bases and getting a 4th down last game with roaches, and if he gets these 4 bases down, these 2 bases down, and really puts the pressure with the roaches, I mean, I do not think that ThorZaIN cannot possibly, I don't think there's any chance that ThorZaIN can do anything if these 2 bases come down. So ThorZaIN needs to scout these. He needs to scout them. He needs to hit one of them. If he sends forces out and he starts hitting these bases, almost certainly he will be able to take one of them out, but he needs to do it, and he needs to do it very, very soon. So there we go. He sees this base. He sees the 3rd. So yes, that is he has not seen the 4th though, so that is going to be to his disadvantage. He's probably not even expecting a 4th, but he would be very wise to check it just in case. Yeah, so he's checking this one, but that one's not really going to have anything. He needs to check this one. If he sees that that's already up, then he is going to be, yes, he is going to have to scramble every single force he can get to take it out, because if he does not take this out, I'm going to say if he does not take this out within the 15-minute mark, it is going to be too late, and TLO is just going to be a macro crazy insane bastard by that point, and ThorZaIN will just lose the game from being overwhelmed. He needs to take this 4th base out. And look at this, the roach numbers are already starting to get absolutely stupid, starting to get up to the 30 range, whereas ThorZaIN, he might have enough to deal with that, but we have a look at the income, 73 to 61. TLO is just going to start going nuts in this 4th base, man. He needs to scout this 4th base. I cannot stress how important it is to scout this 4th base, but instead ThorZaIN is just going to be playing happy slap with all of the creep tumors over here. And yeah, I can't stop talking about the 4th base, man. ThorZaIN is going to lose this game because he's not scouting the 4th base. You're starting to get the creep down, but these guys are going to be moving in. They do not want this guy to scout down there, but it looks like he's just going to keep pushing in. He's pushing in. Oh, is he going to scout it? Keep on, go, but the roach is catching up, and he's going to be moving away. Scout the 4th base. There he goes. He does the hard push. He sees the 4th base, And now he's like, oh, this base is already up there. This is going to be some scary shit. The force is coming in, but ThorZaIN knows about the force, and he has to do something about it. Unless he just solidifies into his third. But even then, I do not know if it's going to work, because TLO, man, he's getting a massive amount of units right now. He's getting Roach Hydra. He's got 2 weapons. He's got 2 armor just about to finish off. He's got roaches coming out of his ass. He's got his infestation pit. He is going into super duper macro mode. And ThorZaIN will probably be able to hold this off defensively, but look at the amount of forces he's got at the 14-minute mark. This is already a late game army right here. Just pushing in, doing some awesome stuff. ThorZaIN is doing very well for himself. He's managed to get the 3rd base up. And look at this, Marauders versus Hellions. They've moved out of the siege tank range. And he's got to do some awesome stuff and just ripping apart this army. And ThorZaIN is in a lot of trouble. If you'd seen that 4th a little bit earlier, he may have made a push in, but the macro machine that is TLO has fully gotten into gear, and the armies are not going to stop coming. They're just going to keep jumping out, and ThorZaIN is not going to be able to catch up. He is not going to be able to deal with these armies anymore. He is going to lose this game. There we go, I've said it, he's going to lose this game. What the hell are these overlords doing? I do not know, but they're crapping themselves for one reason or another. And here we go, ThorZaIN trying to hold off. He really needs to keep this 3rd base going. He's starting to move the siege tanks out in front, and he may be able to hold off here, but I don't know, I don't think it matters if he can hold here. Because holding the 3rd base might keep him in the game, but it's not going to win him the game, not with 4 bases going nuts. And TLO, we know he is going to expand to a 5th in the next few minutes, because he is just that awesome, that sort of awesome player. And yeah, he wants to be mining at 4 bases at once, so he's going to have to get the 5th base out. And 5 base Zerg versus a 3 base Terran, man, there's no hope. He's just got no hope. He's going to hold off attacks every now and then, but here we go, the 5th base coming down over there, sorry. And yes, TLO just with the insane amount of macro, and ThorZaIN really back up against the wall. I'm not sure what he can do. He's got an insane amount of upgrades, but the Zerg has an insane amount of upgrades as well. He's only started 3 weapons, and ThorZaIN is going to get his 3 weapons and his 3 armor a little bit sooner. He's actually getting level 2 for the tanks and stuff, but oh, that's actually burning down. Maybe that was TLO letting him know that it was burning down. I do not know, but it's gone now. And oh, his supply blocked him. Ouch. A lot of pain. Speaking of a lot of pain, he's trying to move in here. He didn't do a lot though. But yes, these medevacs managing to run out. I'm surprised the Vipers didn't try and yank them back. They must have been out of energy. So lucky for those medevacs. Even if they're hiding out here, you can chain pull these guys back into a group of spore crawlers or medevacs or hydras or whatever the hell it is. And yes, ThorZaIN, he is like a rat in a trap at the moment, and he does not realize that the entire map is the trap right now. So he is squeezed into it, and TLO is just got his hands around his throat. And yes, the question is, when is TLO going to start squeezing? Because I do not know, man. I do not know. ThorZaIN's got up a very huge army. He's got the numbers. But if we have a look at the income, I do not know, man. Maybe he can pull out of this. Maybe 3 base Terran is the bases that he needs to have. But he's nearly mined out there. And then he's going to be 2 base Terran. And 2 base Terran versus 4 base Zerg. He is not going to be able to rebuild his army as fast as he needs to. And it's all going to come down to the siege tanks wiping out these guys. ThorZaIN is going to have to kill more than he loses, and he's going to have to do it a few times in a row. Otherwise, he has no chance of winning this game. He's doing some excellent drops here, and the drops are definitely knocking down the worker numbers. So this harassment, very good. Maybe this is why TLO hasn't pushed in, but I can't help thinking that TLO just doesn't want to push in. That he's not ready to push in yet. He's waiting to get everything beautifully. You can see he's waiting for maybe 3-3 to get down. Maybe he's waiting for that, but ThorZaIN is going to have 3-3 by that point. And here we go, the push in. And man, alright, ThorZaIN is going to get all his forces out. He's going to move to defend his 4th. He's got the high position here. He's got to move the tanks. They're in a beautiful position right now. The clouds are coming down, but the tanks sort of jumping out of them. And these tanks are going to do such an awesome job here. The Hellions, the bloody Hydras, I'm just going to say, just going to get shelled. And ThorZaIN pulling back, trying to pull the Hydras in. The Hydras are not falling for it. And really great job there by ThorZaIN. He lost a fair amount of units, the same as the Zerg, but all he lost were Marines and Marauders. He did not lose tanks, and that is the important thing right there. So yes, definitely getting in there. One Roach burrowing down to make sure the command center does not fall down. And yes, he's going to have to waste a scan here to get rid of this Roach. But yes, the Terran player is starting to get out to his 4th base and cannot land. Where's the scan? And there he goes. The Roach just gets destroyed in one shot. And there it goes. And meanwhile, the Zerg player may be thinking about doing a push to the side of the 3rd base. Keep that tank line running around. But he's already unsieging him, so he's already got some sort of idea that something is going on. Yeah, he should have this watchtower. If he had this watchtower, he would definitely know something was going on. Could have moved out a little bit sooner. But there we go. He's going to do a push. I don't know if he's going to be fast enough to defend this 3rd. I think he will be though, but this is a massive force. And they are going to take out a few tanks here. But the tank's doing so much damage, man. 2 weapons on these tanks, just about to get 3 damage. And yeah, doing a great job. The Zerg army just getting quite mutilated here. But they are moving in. They did take out quite a lot of tanks here. And they've actually got a flank with some forces here. And all of the infantry for the Terran army has been defeated. And it's going to come down to the reinforcements. And ThorZaIN is really getting up there with the 3rd and now the 4th. I think he has evened out the economy. I think he's in a very, very good spot right now. So this very early 4th base push that the Zerg player did, he would have needed to be trading armies about 10 minutes ago to really make use of it, but he didn't. He sat back a little bit, and ThorZaIN got the 3rd base up, and he got a massive army, and he had enough to hold off the 4th base when he moved out to it. So great play by ThorZaIN, pulling himself back in this game. I still think TLO could have finished it off a little bit earlier when his 4th base started getting, like a couple of minutes after this really started to get working. But he didn't do it. He decided to go for a bit more tech options like Ultralisk and waiting for upgrades and stuff like that. But he gave ThorZaIN the time to get up the army he needed. And now we are into a late game macro fest, and ThorZaIN is not slacking off. He is getting up everything he needs to get up. And now TLO has a fight on his hand. It is going to be a late game massive fight. And it's all going to come down to the units and tanks versus Hydras. TLO, he no longer has the economic advantage, and the army composition has been working against him. So yes, he's going to have to pull something out, and that something is going to be Broodlords. So yes, we're going to have to see a massive amount of Vikings coming out for ThorZaIN to deal with those Broodlords. And does he know? That is the question. Does he know? And I do not think he does. With these 2 Roaches, somehow they got right in there, man. Awesome job. Gonna have to use a scan here to take him out. I don't think he really wants to use a scan, but I think he's going to be forced to use one here. There's 2 starports coming down, so I think he does know about the Broodlords. I don't think these are going to be for battlecruisers or anything crazy like that. Maybe for Ravens, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be for Vikings, because yeah, he really does need the Vikings. The 2 Roaches still down here. Where is the scan? I do not know. The Corruptor taking out the medevac, and these 4 Marauders continuing to hit these guys, and the Corruptor's like, well, what now, boss? I don't actually know what to do with Marauders. But there we go, morphing into a Broodlord right there. And there we go, the Broodlord taking him out. And yes, he's going to have to get the reactors down very, very soon. He is going to have to start spitting out Vikings like you would not believe, because Broodlords are very, very scary. But I think ThorZaIN should be okay, because, I mean, let's have a look at the unit count. 9 and 4 of these. So TLO's got to remember that Broodlords are going to be doing the massive amount of damage to the ground army, but he also needs something to counter the Vikings. He's got some Hydras, but Hydras are going to get shredded by tanks. So Hydra's not a good option. He needs to get a massive amount of Broodlords and still have enough Corruptors to deal with the tanks. and I'm not sure that he's getting out more corruptors, so he's doing a half decent job. And ThorZaIN finally getting into his Viking numbers, but he, I don't know, maybe too late. I mean, this amount of Broodlords, he's got them out very, very quickly, and it may just completely wipe out the numbers. The Viking numbers are not where they need to be right now. He needs to get a ton more Vikings, and yeah, he's not actually building them right now. He's getting some stimmed Marines coming in there, sniping out the Broodlords, doing a great job. And if he holds off here, he'll be in a very good position. If he defeats all these Broodlords, he's going to be in an even better position. And look at this guy going, man. He's getting out a ton of corruptors, but it turns out the Marines are the ones who are going to kill the Broodlords. And yeah, great job, man. Really, really great job. And I gotta say, man, Broodlords just... I do not know. Because Broodlords are such an iffy tactic to use. Especially to counter a Triple M tank, because Marines can kill Broodlords. They really, really can. And Broodlords are so slow, and I don't know, I've never actually seen a game where the Zerg player goes for Broodlords and they work versus the Marines. I mean, versus Triple M plus tanks, you gotta go for something else. You gotta go for Roach Hydra and Vipers with clouds on the tanks. I mean, that we have seen, and I think that is starting to be a proven tactic against Triple M plus tank, because the Hydras shred the Triple M, and all you have to worry about is getting the clouds on the tanks, and it is so slow to get the tanks away that to reposition them, that you can just keep clouding them forever as long as you got the Viper numbers. And yeah, TLO, he had Vipers at some point. He tried to get the clouds down, but it didn't really work, and I think he should have kept on trying with that composition, because yeah, the Broodlords just not the right answer here. They just got shredded by the Marines, and the Vikings were coming out anyway. So yeah, great game by these guys. Really, really long end game sort of stuff. Bases left, right and center. Completely insane. But ThorZaIN getting out the army composition and really doing a good job harassing as well. He was harassing this base, he was harassing this base. He wiped out this base. So great job with the drops there. Just old school medevac drops, dropping down Marauders and Marines, because why the hell not? And yeah, and just Thor's TLO going for those Broodlords, taking a bit of a risk, and it did not pay off. And I gotta say, it usually doesn't against a Terran player who really knows what he's doing, because Broodlords are just so iffy against Terrans. They're really iffy against everything. I mean, they're slow, they do a lot of damage, but yeah, they're basically sitting ducks as far as air superiority goes, and they need somebody to look after them, and the Zerg does not really have that much that can do it. I mean, Corruptors are good, Mutas are okay, but I think Vikings are just so awesome in TVT, so yeah. There we go, game number 2, and yeah, ThorZaIN taking it back in a very, very big way. It is a bit scary going massive end game macro against a Zerg player of TLO's caliber, but getting a massive amount of forces, man, and really holding it off all game, keeping his third base alive, I think was one of the really, really good things that ThorZaIN did. And yeah, excellent job there, and we will be moving on to game number 3. Yeah, so good stuff. We'll see if ThorZaIN can hold on and make it to the next series, or if TLO will just hit back again and get the momentum back. And yeah, game number 3, I'll catch you guys then. This has been Hairy Muppet.